gonna send you back to Arkansas. Oh, yes, ma'am. You don't do right. Don't do right. When you see me in misery, come on, baby, see about me now, yeah. All right. All right. Oh, play it, boy.
This is the Tom Ficklin Show, and it's really a pleasure to kind of be back on CTV. And I want to thank Walt and Joe and Rick and the rest of the crew for allowing me to kind of enter this neighborhood of mass media communications once again. A few years ago, I was on a regular basis, and really, again, appreciative and really glad to kind of be involved once again. The show will kind of take the format of really experiences and people I've had a chance to interact with, the video events I've had a chance to attend, and just to kind of communicate from a news and cultural, political, social, spiritual, and economic standpoint, some historical moments, but also from a Sankofa standpoint of, you know, looking from the past, centering ourselves in the present, but also looking for the future. So kind of like anchoring one in terms of this historical moment, anchoring one in this her story moment. I wanted to open with, and I did open with the spot from Barack Hussein Obama, because it's just obviously Ray Charles is an icon, and that shot came from the performance at the White House, which the last 10 or so years, presidents have had performers, artistic folks kind of perform and show their creativity at the White House, and that was the most recent one. It's on PBS still. You can still kind of view it with where Barack and Michelle are kind of spotlighting the heritage and the artistry and the actual genius of Ray Charles. Obviously, it's kind of on my mind also in terms of what happens in November. So while Barack is still president and Michelle is still first lady, I really like that clip, because I think it will be all right, but it will only be all right if we all remain involved and engaged, regardless of who is in the White House in this coming January, and regardless of who you vote for in November. But obviously, it's an important election. We're going to get right to it. The 30 minutes, the 28 minutes really speed by quickly. A few weeks ago, I had a chance, about 10 days ago actually, there was a press conference that the state NAACP held, and Scott Esdale is the president of the state NAACP here in Connecticut, and the press conference was held in response to, as you may have known, there was a death. I mean, deaths happen all the time, and in this particular case, there was a death where a gentleman had an accident right here in the West Haven 95 New Haven kind of intersection, and the car is in an accident. The state police and the West Haven police arrive, and as a result of that accident, the gentleman's in the car. Tasers are fired. So 2 tasers are fired from the West Haven police and the state police, and the gentleman died. So the point reason I wanted to kind of start off my show in terms of this resumption of the Tom Ficklin Show is, regardless of our historical moment, the interaction between our citizens and our authorities, that's always sometimes a tenuous relationship. This particular case will be in the news for a while, and the state NAACP has is proposed and is pursuing a fully transparent investigation of the situation. And so this first clip from Scott Esdale, the president of the state NAACP here in Connecticut, is kind of from the press conference, and Scott will kind of talk a little bit about the circumstances and the reasons that the state NAACP held their press conference at their offices, their New Haven offices here on Whaley Avenue. So let's go to the clip with where Scott kicks off the press conference in terms of their pursuing the need for a fully transparent and full disclosure investigation of this particular incident.
My name is Scott X. Esdale, and I am the state president of the Connecticut NAACP. I'm here with attorney Darnell Crossland, who also is the president of the Norwalk NAACP and also the attorney representing the Lane family. I have Brandon Lane, the son of the deceased, here today. I just want to read this quick statement. Then I want to let Darnell talk. I also have Dave McGuire, who is the Connecticut ACLU Legislative and Policy Director. And I have the first Vice President of the New Haven branch, Tony Dawson, who is a retired 17-year lieutenant of the Yale New Haven Police Department at Yale New Haven Hospital. And also I have Tammy Lanier, the State Criminal Justice Chair for the NAACP. And once again, I thank you all for coming out. First, I'd like to say condolences to the family. This is a very distraught situation, and the Connecticut NAACP is officially forwarding an investigation into this matter. Thomas Lane is the 18th person to die after being tased by the police in Connecticut since 2005. Although we do not know all of the facts about this incident, the mounting number of taser-related deaths demonstrates the need for greater transparency and oversight regarding taser use in Connecticut. Governor Malloy and the legislature must mandate that all tasers be equipped with readily available cameras that will automatically record audio and video of all taser incidents. Police departments must also make the already mandated taser use of force reports available to the public immediately after fatal incidents. These situations, as I stated earlier, are life and death. Most people who die from tasers in the state of Connecticut are minorities. Out of the 18 deaths, 12 have been black and Latino. That's 2/3 of the deaths in the state of Connecticut. This is absurd. And once again, the NAACP has been forwarding investigations and mobilizing and galvanizing around taser issues since 2009. Marcus Brown in Waterbury was killed by a police officer by a taser inside the car at a hospital. And this is a similar situation where we see a traumatic situation, an accident, and when a public safety official comes to someone that's supposed to be a hero and then uses a taser and the person ends up being dead, this is a very, very, very critical situation. And as I've stated before, the NAACP will not tolerate this. We have a great man that's on this particular case. Once again, as I stated earlier, he is the president of the Norwalk NAACP, a fine and dignified attorney in the state of Connecticut, and he's representing the family also. So I'll let Darnell.
Good. Well, so welcome back. You're listening to the Tom Ficklin Show, and that was just a clip from Scott X. Esdale, the state president of the Connecticut State NAACP, and we're going to go to a clip in a few minutes from Darnell Crossland. And Darnell is the lawyer that the family has retained, but also he's president of the Norwalk chapter. Again, whether it's the Eric Garner situation or Fruitland movie you may have seen about the gentleman in San Francisco, or Trayvon Martin, or the name goes on and the names go on and on, Mike Brown, etc. These situations unfortunately continue to occur, and that's not to say there's not peace on a variety of levels. And whether these situations are erratic and unusual, or whether they're consistent, that remains for the public to kind of decide, and also to kind of galvanize ourselves around. But I wanted to kind of show these two clips from the press conference, because in this case, in terms of the resolution of what really took place at the accident, there will be a report available. I would even urge you, if you're watching this, to ask your state rep or your state senator or even your congressperson to kind of keep you in the loop and ask them if they know about what happened, if they've reached out to the governor or Michael Lawler in terms of the situation. Or even your city council person or your city alderman here in the state of Connecticut. Again, this is the Tom Ficklin Show, and we're going to go to the clip from Darnell Grossland now. And Darnell is the lawyer that the family has retained. He's also the president of the Norwalk Norwalk NAACP. And let's hear from what Darnell, and Darnell gives a little more context in terms of the incident, which again, it still is under investigation. So that doesn't mean that what Darnell says is absolutely going to prove to be correct, but he's comfortable in describing the situation as he has understood it at that point in time. And again, the court of public opinion is always important in my mind for us to realize that we can exercise authority as well. So let's go to the clip from Darnell, who further explains the situation regarding the incident.
There was nothing involved, any criminality was involved in this particular case. It was simply a motor vehicle accident that resulted in Mr. Lane being tased. And I think that's important for us to know. The parties that were involved, we had West Haven Police Sergeant Joseph D'Amato, 8-year veteran of the force, State Police Justin Lund, 5-year veteran of the force, and of course Mr. Lane, who was the victim who passed away. The reported facts are these. Early Tuesday morning, Mr. Lane was involved in a motor vehicle accident. The accident was so bad that it ripped the engine compartment away from from the Jeep that he was driving. He had suffered from severe head injuries and was in need of immediate medical care at the time. As one would imagine, Mr. Lane was panic-stricken. He was screaming out for help, and as we understand, in that attempt to help them, one of the firemen injured his hand in the rescue attempt. In response to that injury, it appears that state police, who I must note handles hundreds of motor vehicle accidents on I-95, responded with a shot from a taser gun. Shortly after, a West Haven police officer, Sergeant D'Amato, also fired his taser into the body of Mr. Lane. Now, what's unclear is how long that they deployed or compressed the electrocution into Mr. Lane. And it's clear, I have to make that clear, once you shoot a taser into somebody, that's the first step. Second step is how long you actually are electrocuting that person, and that's unclear. So we have 2 officers who responded to this matter by shooting Mr. Lane 2 times with the taser. The victim later died. Cause of death. The chief medical examiner, their office has not yet completed their autopsy results. In addition to what they're doing, we're going to be doing an independent examination into the death as well. Dr. Paul Thompson, chief cardiologist at Hartford Hospital, has reportedly said that it is difficult to determine whether Lane was made more vulnerable to the stun gun's impact because of the injuries that he suffered. And it's very unusual to have a person who's in an accident suffering from the type of injuries he.
So again, I wanted to kind of, this is the Tom Ficklin Show, and I'm not necessarily teasing you because there are other excerpts from the complete press conference that I've had a chance to post on YouTube. And actually, feel free to reach out to me at tomficklin@aol.com, TOMFICKLIN @AOL.com, and I can send you the links to the remainder of the press conference. If you're just tuning in, you've just seen. If you're just tuning in, you've just seen a clip, 2 clips actually, from State President Scott X. Esdale and Mr. Crossland, the lawyer who's been retained by the family, and he's also the president of the Norwalk chapter. But again, I wanted to kind of illustrate this particular incident, and again, it could have been an incident 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 100 years ago, but it's very important for us to kind of remain politically active. The purpose of this show is kind of it's really a variety show, kind of a smorgasbord, if you will, but also gets different points of activity, of creative expression, of social movements that I think might have your attention, and also give you a chance to get further involved. For example, had a chance to participate in something called it's sponsored by CEIO, and they sponsor these Deeper Change forums. There's an upcoming Deeper Change forum in April that might be of interest to you. It's open to the public. It's on April 5th, 2016, and CEIO, if you go to the CEIO website, you'll be able to see and register for this event. I've had a chance to participate in roughly 7 Deeper Change forums, and it's coming up this April 5th, and in the morning and the afternoon, open to the public, free, just kind of register, and it's going to be dealing with somatic leadership, change, and cultivation. Each of the forums, someone presents pertaining to how does one improve, transform, lead, become really invigorated about the human, your human journey and your individual journey and your collective journey. April 5th, go to the CEIO website, and you still have time to register. It's open to the public, it's free. Neono Span and others are very involved with that and provide a lot of leadership. At the last one, the title was pertaining to art interrupting injustice, art interrupting injustice. And a gentleman by the name of Terrence Riggins gave a spontaneous performance. Other artists kind of participated. You had Jason Dorsey, you had Aaron Jafaris, you had Hanifa Washington, and Lara Hershkovitz. But the theme was art interrupting injustice. And Terrence, I just want to play this brief clip. It was around Valentine's Day, so his clip, spoken word, pertains to love, but it's a way, it's kind of the thunder of love, the siren of love, the echo chamber, and the internal combustion of love kind of comes through in this brief clip. So it's deliberately a teaser. Wanted to shout out to Terrence for sharing it, and we're going to play this brief clip that I just really love. And the main point is just to kind of also take advantage of the next one, Deeper Change Forum, that's upcoming in April. Let's go to the clip by Terrence Riggins.
He played thunder on his magic kettle drum, casting beats of battle through my blood. Boom, ba ba, boom, ba ba, boom, cross 99 millenniums of twilight, urging my attack to snatch it back because of my birthright. From the knitted nooses and twisting of minds, the madness of macho and third eyes blind even my own head. Sometimes my head time owns. Some things are just worth fighting for. My life, my soul, my love, I love you because our daddy swore they did it. But our mama screamed they failed. And what would we beget if this curse is not dispelled? This is my incantation. My spirited earth song. And if I did not love you, the curse would go on and on and on. I love you cause boom, baba, boom, baba, boom, boom, boom. Go ahead.
I hope you've enjoyed that as much as I do. Again, thank you to Terrence Riggins for sharing that artistry. Obviously, spoken word is important these days. When I say important, it's popular. It's also cohesive. It's also creative. It's also cogent. It can penetrate the soul and inspire the soul. And certainly that piece from Terrence, I really love. Again, there's going to be another follow-up, a Deeper Change Forum. When you just heard Terrence, that was from Art Interrupting Justice was the theme. This one upcoming on April 5th is Somatic Leadership, Change, and Cultivation. Go to the CEIO website for further information. CEIO, in terms of the acronym, which I really love, stands for Co-Creating Effective and Inclusive Organizations. Co-Creating Effective and Inclusive Organizations. And it's worth checking out. We're going to go to a clip pertaining to the Black Panthers, and as many of you know, the Panthers have a a national history, an international history, but also a New Haven history. In fact, I was just, prior to just coming over to the station, chatting with Paul Bass, and Paul Bass and Doug Ray have a book. It's about 3.5 years old now. It's been out for 3.5 years on murder in the model city that talks about the Bobby Seale trial, the Erica Huggins trial. But as many of you know, perhaps, that the Stanley Nelson has produced and directed a film documentary on the Black Panthers, Vanguard of the Revolution, and it still is available on PBS until March 18th, that you can watch it freely on PBS. I've had a chance to see the documentary several times, and obviously when you do a documentary, things are in or things are not in. So New Haven is not necessarily spotlighted in this particular in the particular Black Panthers on PBS. Vanguard of the Revolution, and there's some controversy about that, but there's enough. The Panther story is a very unique one to tell, and if you go to the if you kind of Google the book "Murder in the Model Cities" by Doug Ray and Paul Bass, I've had a chance to publish on my blog. Also, there's a declassified FBI file of the Panther Party in New Haven. If you want to kind of email me in Connecticut, I should say, if you'd like to email me, I can send you that link to the declassified FBI file of the Black Panther Party here in Connecticut. Also, CTN, the state TV station, has done two. It's videotaped 2 workshops, conferences, if you will, on the Black Panthers in Connecticut. So I certainly urge you to kind of check out the Black Panther film Vanguard of the Revolution. That's on PBS for free until March 18th. But there's also ways of kind of localizing more and collecting more information about the Black Panther history, but also it's an ongoing struggle, I would suggest to you, even today. So we're going to play this little trailer from the PBS Black Panther Vanguard of the Revolution intentionally and deliberately as a teaser to kind of urge you to kind of check out the film that's free on PBS until March 18th.
The Black Panthers. Black Panthers. The Black Panther Party. Black Panther movement.
The Black Panthers were absolutely unique.
Being black in America meant that you didn't walk down the street with the same sense of safety and the sense of privilege as a white person. Attack dogs, fire hoses.
Police jump on you, beat you up, put the gun at your head. This is what we were going through on a daily basis.
We stand on the eve of a black revolution, brothers.
Now we have voices within the community that we're not going to continue to turn the other cheek.
Second Amendment guarantees the citizen a right to bear arms on public property.
We're going to carry our guns and we're going to follow the police. We're going to maintain a legal distance, ready to throw down if necessary.
Anyone who would approve of this kind of demonstration must be out of their mind.
God get the sound. That's what I need.
These racist Gestapo pigs have to stop brutalizing our community or we're going to drive them out.
The majority of the rank and file are women.
We tried to change some of the clear gender roles. Women had guns and men cooked breakfast for children.
The way we walk and talk and dress, we were a phenomenon.
The Black Panthers really understood the media. They used us to their advantage.
Chairman of the Black Panther Party, and here he is.
They tapped the phone. The phone is probably hooked up to the White House.
You read the Black Panther Party newspaper?
Yes, I do.
Why?
Because I'm black and I'm proud.
The FBI wanted to destroy the Panthers.
How about justice? Justice is incidental to law and order.
This was all-out attack on the Black Panther Party. Every significant office is going to be raided, bombed, shot, mass arrests.
They were coming to kill us.
Say that again?
When the 15-minute gun battle was over, 2 Black Panthers were dead.
This was obviously a political assassination.
It was like a slaughterhouse.
We were doing fundraisers at places like Jane Fonda's townhouse so that we could raise money for the Legal Defense Fund.
There were 156 not guilty verdicts. It's astonishing.
We don't hate nobody because of their color. We hate oppression.
We refer to ourselves as the Vanguard. We wanted the entire community to follow.
I feel free. I feel absolutely free. You understand? That's what I feel.
Again, really thanks to Rick and Walt and Joe and the rest of the crew here at CTV. the beauty of kind of being back on the as part of what I will call the CTV movement. It's inspirational. So I'm looking forward to continuing. And again, each of the shows will be a little different. I'm going to try to always throw in a little mix of creativity, but also a little mix of what's happening on a current standpoint, from a historical standpoint. Obviously, we'll talk about what's cooking in the world between now and November, but there will be life after the November election, and there'll be births and deaths and resurrection, et cetera. So there's one more clip that I wanted to show, but we'll do that next time. But again, just thank you, and definitely be blessed, and kind of consider one of the mantras for the show is words that kind of a lot of the P words: purpose, passion, planning, and production. How does one deal with that purpose, passion, planning, and production in terms of your daily lives and your 24/7 life? So that's also kind of one of the themes of what this show is going to be about: purpose, passion, planning, and production. Let's kind of conclude with what we open with the "It's Going to Be All Right" from President Barack Hussein Obama. In the same way that Jimmy Carter, although he's had health challenges of late, he's remained active in the public sphere for the last 30, 40 years. In the same way that Bill Clinton, regardless of his role after November, he's going to remain active. And Barack and Michelle will remain active as well. So that gives me hope that there'll be people and you give me hope also, that we have to stand to be counted. And if you're not fighting the battle, but waging a good mission, you can become a casualty. So let's close with Barack. It's going to be all right, and it's an homage to Ray Charles' performance at the White House, and we'll see you next time.
I got to say more. Hey, hey, ho, ho, hey, hey, ho, ho, hey, hey, ho, ho, hey, hey. It's all good. It's all good. It feels so good. It's all right. 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 Thank you, everybody. Hope you had a great time. Thank you. Thank you to all the performers. Give it up for the